as a blueprint where always class act as a blueprint, whereas the object act as an actual skeleton to it, actual body to it. So if you want to access any method or any variable of a class, we have to use an object which is declared under that class. And with the help of a dot operator, I can access it. Suppose the object is a pointer object, then the access operator is arrow. This is what the previous class, and this keyword means this is a specially specifying that particularly telling this is the variable which has to be assigned. This dot height or this dot weight, like this. Are you able to see this? Right. This is about telling this keyword, particularly specifying which variable has to take which value. So the local variable exists in the method with the same name as that of the instance variable. Then the local variables hide the shadow of the instant variable. If instant variables is to be accessed, when the local variables are with the same name exist, this instant variable will be accessed with the help of this operator. That means in the function you have declared some variables and you are passing those functions also same variable name. If you want to use them particularly means use this keyword, right? Then box is a class which is taking some input and calculating the some or the other variable related to it. So it is an example, example program. Before going to it, what is a constructor? I already told you that constructor is a function, or it is just like a thing which is used to initialize the variables. If you don't give a constructor for a program in a Java, the default constructor is set. What this default constructor? It automatically sets all the variable values which are declared under that class will be set to 0. Suppose if you take a class, in that you have taken int a comma b. If you don't give any constructor, that means if you are not initializing the values by your own value, then automatically the compiler will invoke the default constructor and take those two variable values as 0. That is what the functionality of your default constructor. Right? Please look at this example again. Here there is a class by the name box with the variables width, height and depth. In that I wrote one constructor. I already told you that constructor name should be same as your class name, because it is the thing where the variables are and what the values has to be given. So from there we are giving, no, it has to be same name. So here width, height, depth, I am giving the values as 555. Suppose if I don't specify this constructor, no, width, height values will be zeros. Next, they are getting occupied with something and calculating the volume and then printing. This is already told in the class. Constructor with arguments means I'll be passing the arguments. That means whatever values I just want to give it to the class, I'll be passing it through the keyboard as an argument to the constructor, and constructor will take those values which I want to give it and assign it to the variables which are there in the class. Okay? So constructor with arguments. Please, Pavan Kalyan. Please make sure that when you are joining the class, mute yourself first. Okay? Yes, constructor with arguments means previously we wrote the constructor normally, but here we are writing HWD are the arguments sent from the main. When you are declaring the object B1, then you are sending the values 5, 10, 15 as to the constructor. Then width, height, depth values are 5, 10, 15 under the object B1. If you focus under the object B2, their values passed are 2, 3, 4. Okay. So what is happening here? First I wrote a class. Under the class, I declared int, width, height, depth. Are you able to see it? Under the class name box, I took 3 variables: width, height, depth. Then I have declared a constructor with some arguments, HWD. These 3 values, I'll be sending it when I create an object, right? So constructor will be invoked when an object is created. When the object will be created, when you are in need of use of your class members. So WHD got assigned to width, height, depth respectively. Then what is the function there in the class? Get volume, just multiplication of width, height, and length. Then after closing it, you can even close the main class here, or you can write the main method in the class also. It is up to you. Usually we will close the class here and we'll write the main method outside. Public static void main string arguments. This is what the way we need to write. Then in the main method, first thing I have to declare the object for the class, right? So box is the class name, object name is a B1, equal to operator to create the object is new, which will allocate the memory of type box. Under how many values are there? 3 values I have to pass. 5, 10, 15 I am passing. Later on, I declared one more object and I am passing it to the B2. And when I invoke B1.getValue, it will print the resultant of 5, 10, 15. When you are invoking the object B2, the answer will be 2 into 3 into 4. Right? This is a simple example related to your constructor with parameter. Okay? Any doubts in this? My small request to everyone, it's just simply listening to the class won't be fetch any knowledge. Try to practice whatever the example we are looking into. Okay? Whatever the examples we are looking with the concept, please try to them practice with some different values or try to execute them. Okay? Yes. The next topic, can I start? Are you comfortable with this? And the file name, what you are supposed to give for this program is box.java. How you are supposed to execute? Java space, Java C space, file name dot Java. Okay? That execution steps and how to execute, please try to remember everything. Don't forget them. Okay? Yes, next one is garbage collection and finalize method. Is that disturbing every time? When you are joining a class, please won't you keep you mute? Garbage collection and finalize method. What is meant by garbage? Waste. Waste collection, right? And finalize method. Before going to it, please have a glance of the memory methodology first. That means memory representation and how it will be taking off. So in order to allocate memory, we are having new method. In order to deallocate the allocated memory, we are having a method called free or delete. But we don't use delete, we'll use only free. So the garbage collection is reclaim the memory of objects that are no longer used. That means for a class, you have taken one object, but that object you are not using it properly. So what we have to do? We need to deallocate the memory which has been allocated for that object. How can I reuse it? Not deallocate, ma. Reuse that memory means that is what your garbage collection. So garbage collector will automatically initiated at runtime environment. Whatever object's memory is no longer in use at runtime, the garbage collector will unnecessarily invoke a method and initiate it with the garbage collector. Right? This will provide a request for the reusability of the memory of some other object which is not in use. Okay? Finalize method. Finalized means what? Fixed. Final means what? Fixed. Here, finalized method gives an ability to perform some important cleanup of the garbage collection. If some activity that must be performed before an object is no longer needed, it must be performed explicitly by calling the finalize method. Since Java has no destructor or no similar concept, the finalized method has to be followed. What is this finalized method? Whatever the thing which is not in use, I have to write it in a specific thing like finalize. Don't use it when it is not required. Please reuse it for the next usage. So the small example related to it, the class name is finalize test. Function name itself is finalize. Method is called. What is this method is getting done? It is just calling the garbage collector and just rechanging the memory which has been allotted. Okay. Definition wise, these are useful for the short answers. You don't get any long answer. Okay. But try to learn the definition of it. Next one is data structure concept stack. You already know that stack is a data structure which follows one principle, LIFO, and it not only takes one single operation at a time, it can perform multiple, more than one operation under a single block, right? So what are the operations I can perform? Push, pop, display, peek, top of the element, such kind of functions and size of the stack, right? Whatever you want to add it, you can add it. So to implement stack, we are here. So please look at the stack class. Yes, first look at the class of stack by the name stack. And what is the size of your stack? Maximum is 5. Then the constructor has been written for the stack. Amma, which thing you want me to repeat? Garbage collection, finalize method. Only one single point related among these two functions. Actually, garbage collection is not a function, ma. Garbage collection is one way of reusing the memory which is allotted to the object, but that object is not used in the present execution. Present execution, it is not used. So what it has been allotted, but it is not used. In that situation, the memory is getting wasted, no? So in order to reuse such kind of functions, such kind of memory, we'll be using garbage collection garbage collection method. What it does actually means it reallocates the memory which has been allocated to an object which is not in use. Okay? Unnecessarily, memory will not be under the object control which is not in use. Okay? Then please look at this stack. Constructor in the stack, public stack, array is a variable declared under the stack. For that, how much memory you are allocating with the keyword new of data type int with the size of max. Then top initially you took it as 0 because you are allocating dynamic memory allocations. So in the push, array of top will be your number, then top plus plus. If it reaches to the maximum size, stack is full, I cannot add an element. Pop, if it is less than 0, stack is empty, else please stop the element and then print it. In the main method, first please take the object of the class. Stack is the class name, S1 is the object name. With the help of new, I am creating an object for it. Then with the help of S1, first I called S1 dot push 1. So what is that element I am pushing? 1. In which location? 0th location, because top equal to 0. Next, what is the element I am pushing? 3. Next, 5. Next, 7, 9, 11. So what will be there on the top? 9, because 11 cannot be inserted. Only 5 elements was the size. Okay. So 9, 7, 5, 3, 1. Suppose if I go for pop element for so many 5 times, all the elements will be popped. Right? Suppose if I take one more object, S2, and I just want to push some values. What is that value? I wrote one for loop. For I equal to 0, I less than stack dot max, I plus plus, that is 5. S2 dot push method I'm calling. What is the argument I am passing? I into 2 plus 100. That is 0 into 2, 0 plus 100, 100. Then next 101. The next 102, 104, 110 will be there. After that, it won't take anything. So everything will be popped like that. The output will be given to you. Are you able to see the output? This is what the main focus, what you need to take in the stack means previously whatever you have learned in the C, the same thing is getting reflected. But instead of printf and scanf, you are using new operator and you are allocating the memory and you are accessing it. The thing what you need to remember over here means every time the thing is the constructor, public stack array equal to new int of max. Here if you don't specify int, no, if you specify character, it will convert the stack into character type. Is it audible? Is it clear? Please look at this example. Okay. Try to analyze the flow of execution, where what has been written, for what purpose it has been written. That is important. Try to know that perfectly. Okay. Yes. The next one is additional features of Java, that is overloading, final method, static, nested class, strings concept and all. As far as possible, I'll cover up till final methods and static variables. So please look at them carefully. Yes, object-oriented programming encourages the extension of an existing class by the user to provide additional functions. In some cases, the class may feel that it is a specific method should not be modified any further. In such a case, the method is taken as final. Finalize is different and final is different. Final is a method. Once you take any function before keyword and a void main ela aithe rastaro, final void main. If you take that keyword final, no, that particular definition cannot be changed. It is fixed. Further, it can't be changed. Where it can be changed? Under the derived classes, under the subclasses, or under the nested group, and all, it can't be modified, nor it can't be overridden. Overridden or modified. That is what the importance of your final. Best example is, will you change the length of your phone number? It is of 10 digits, no? Can I change the length of the phone number? No. If it is not 10 numbers, will it accept a call for you? No. So it is designed with a method that telephone number digits are 10 and that is final. Okay. The subtopic, very, very important topic is overloading. Overloading means same function name will be there, but it has to perform different tasks for us. One second, ma. Sorry for the interrupt, ma. Okay. Overloading means function name will be same. The functionality done by the function will be different. For example, I am the single person who will be taking a class, and even I will be learning. I am the only girl, but I'll be doing multiple things like eating, walking, drinking, teaching, learning. All these are my different functions. But the thing is, only one thing, I am the person. Like that, function name will be same, but the method or the activity, whatever it is doing, or the function or operation, what it is doing, that might be different. That could be different with in terms of its input or in terms of its methodology. Okay. For example, here is a method called by the name add. First, I took the parameters only 2 or 3 depending upon my interest. Later on, I changed its data type and took it. So here sense that there is a difference in the arguments list, but not in the function name, right? It is supported only in Java and C++, not in C. Operator overloading and function overloading is an additional operations in the OOPS concept. Okay. Now please look at a small example. Box, 3 variables, width, height, and depth with a constructor. And here with a method, volume. And again, one more get volume function is there, which takes the arguments. Previous one without arguments. Now with arguments. Are you able to find it? First, get volume, public int get volume of return length into width into height. Same function I have written, get volume with arguments list, which I'll be passing at the function declaration. Right? So here, please look at the main method. B1 is a variable, sorry, B1 is an object which is invoking and getting the method get volume. It will be taken. Under B2, which will be taken? Arguments are passed. So here, argument passed get volume will be taken into the consideration. Okay. B1 dot get volume. If you send those arguments, then only it will invoke that particular function. Okay, na? So what is meant by overloading? Same function name, but different operations will be performed. Access control. The next one is access control. Actually, access control means I just want to control the accessing of the variables or methods with the help of the objects or derived objects. So before going to it, what are the access specifiers are there? I'll just repeat it once. What are the access specifiers we are having in Java means public, where entire program can access this, not only entire class, entire program. Throughout the program, I can access it. Private means within the class or within the function which has been defined, I can access to that extent. Protected means to which it has been inherited. Those functions only can access the protected members, providing a little bit privacy than the public. Unnecessary giving access to the unwanted people or restricting them to some extent, protected will be used. Okay. Now here access control means how far I can protect my data members. See, with what extent I can move on. Look at here, I'm reading, if a variable or a method is given as a public, the variable or method can be accessed throughout the program from the other packages also. Entire program, it can be accessible. Private means it is only accessible within the class in which it has been defined, or within the block only it can be accessible. That means within the function only it can be accessible, providing much security. Protected means they'll give an access to the persons who just want to know it, right? Yes, please look at here. And small example, by the class name 1, variables are taken with different access specifiers and trying to execute the program. By default, the access specifier will be what? Can anyone tell me? By default, what could be the access specifier? By default, it provides the privacy for us. So by default, it will be private. Okay. So under that function, I took int A. Public int B, private int C, protected int D. Under the class name, object name is 1.A equal to 20, it can be accessible. 1.B equal to 30, even that is also acceptable. C equal to 30, you will get an error. Because C is a private member, some other function can't access it. Even protected members also, it can't be accessed. Only the public members it can access. Right? Only public A and B values can be shown in another class, whereas the rest of the values can't be accessed. It shows an error because they don't have scope to access over there. Okay?
Ma'am?
Yes, ma. Default is like, by default, it will have scope like not completely private, not completely protected, but it will have an access to extend it to the next class.
Hello, ma'am.
The
private access I didn't understand, ma'am.
Private access specifier ardham galeda. Okavela, look at here. Clearly in class 1, I took private of C. Private int C an anna. Private ante enti, it has to be there under the class 1. Class 1 ki sambandhinchina function gaani, object gaani use cheste okay. But class 2 is separately out of that, no? So class 2 లో ఉన్న ఫంక్షన్స్ కానీ ఇంకేమైనా కానీ యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి ఉండదు. ప్రొటెక్టెడ్ ఉంది కదా, ప్రొటెక్టెడ్ అంటే ఏంటి? ఇన్హెరిట్ చేసుకుంటేనే క్లాస్ ఏ నుంచి క్లాస్ 1 నుంచి క్లాస్ 2 కి ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ జరిగితేనే. ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ అంటే ఏంటి? ఎక్వైరింగ్ ద ప్రాపర్టీస్. దాని నుంచి దీనికి ఎక్స్టెండ్ అయితేనే అప్పుడు ఈ వేరియబుల్ ని నాకు యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి ఉంటుంది. నేను ఎక్స్టెండ్ చేయకుండా వేరియబుల్ దీన్ని కూడా యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి లేదు. బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పాలంటే, సపోజ్ యూ హ్యాడ్ అ బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్. PIN number and account number. We'll just discuss only these 2 points. You will relieve your account number to other parties also whom you want to transfer the amount. Yes or no? Whereas password, no. You will access it by your own. You will maintain some security among it, right? Like that, in the class also, if a method has been declared private, means it has a scope within that class. With you only it will be there. It can't be given even to the others. Right? Public
Yes,
means
ma'am.
it can be given to everyone. Account number has to be known to the other party who want to share the money to you. But PIN number is not required. So I'll hide it. I'll make that as private and this as public. Got the point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Next one is final method. Final method. I already told you that if you want to make any function or a method in a class to be fixed with its definition, but not could be changed anymore. In such kind of situation, please make that particular function with a word called final. So here is an example. We have taken a class with the name of calculator and took 2 variables, int a comma b. The constructor has taken for the class and assigning with 2 values which are being passed by the object, right? At the object declaration, those values will be passed. So it is a parameterized constructor. So by using this particular keyword, this dot a, I am passing a and b. Here, actual a and b are the instances of the local variables. What are the local variables? A and B. Int A comma B annadi local variables ma. Constructor lo rasina int A comma int B anedi matram instance of that A. So I am keeping this keyword with the local variables with the instance. Then I took one function as a final. What is that function name? GetSum. What I am doing in it? Return A plus B. What I am doing? Just adding 2 numbers and I am returning back to the main method where it got called, right? So here in the main method, I constructed an object for it, calc. Then I'm creating a memory. I'm passing the arguments because constructor with the arguments have been declared in the class. So 2 variables I'm passing. Then I'm just invoking the method getSum and I'm printing the return whatever has been returned to me. So system.out.println. What it has to print? Whatever has been returned by the getSum, it will print. So what, by which I have to call? Object.method. Object name is calc.getSum. What it will get? A plus B. 10 plus 20, that is 30. Suppose I just want to change the definition at here, I can change it. But suppose if I want to inherit, I have been inherited this getSum method into some other routine, some other class, or somewhere I have been inherited that. In that situation, if I want to change A plus B plus C, 3 variables I just want to change it, means I can't change it. I can change it in the actual method. Get sum of the class calculator. I can't change it in the some other class because the keyword given to it as final. The users can't change its definition in its template, whereas you can change it in the actual method. Okay? Remember, this is very, very important. Final keyword. Once you give a keyword for a function name, it fixes the definition as final. It can't be changed. Okay? Please note down this example. Yes. Did you note it down, the final method? Let us start with the next topic. That is the static variable. Static, by the meaning itself, it tells that it is fixed. So generally, a class describes how the objects of the class should behave like and how they will behave. A class is a definition and is nothing until the object can't access anything. Until the object is not created, the memory will not be allotted for a class, nor even a method. So we need to take that object very specific. So here, a variable should exist even if there is no object of which type has been created. So the keyword static fulfills this requirement. When something is declared as static, the data or method, that means a variable or a function, is not tied to any particular object, but still the instance will be available. Even that object of a class never created, the static method or a static variable can be accessed directly within the class. From the main method, without any object, I can access the variable and method. What kind of methods and variables I can access? Only static variables and static method. Before a function name, I have to take it as a static. Then only I can access that function from the main without the help of an object. The same thing will reflect for the variable. This particular concept is attained to use much more instances without the help of an object. That is the only scenario they have developed this static keyword, right? Yes. Next, non-static members or non-static variables can be accessed only by referring the object. Only the static members can access it. And the thing here, what you need to remember is static methods cannot access non-static members or data. Remember this, static variables or static members can be accessed directly from the main. But intercommunication between the static function and non-static function is not possible. You can't communicate among them. Even the static variables cannot access non-static variables. So the point you need to remember at this stage is we can access certain variables directly from the main method without the help of an object is static things. Non-static things I can't access, but static things can communicate among the static only. Non-static things it can't access. So very simple example. Class, it's a class name is static set tester. That is not the keyword, ma. Class name, I took it as static test. And I took one variable static int I equal to 47. Now, without any object also, I can access it. In the main method, static test dot I plus plus. With the help of the class name, I can access it. Instead of using S1, S2, and all the objects and accessing them, directly I can access it with the help of the class name. Okay, class name of that variable. Suppose you take a function. Look at here. You take a function as a static, then also I can access it with the help of a class name dot that function. Right? These are some of the examples related to it. Please try to look at this example. Static void increment. Static int 47. Only static variables can be used in the static functions. Without any object, I'm executing this particular thing. Okay? I can even execute it with the help of an object, but without using it also, I can use it with the help of the class name dot function or a variable. Are you able to follow me? Please write down the example. First example, static int I equal to 47. How you will be accessing it? We'll be accessing it with the help of a class name dot I. Next, static class functions. Static void increment. How can I access? Directly static test dot inrc. Without any object, I'm accessing it. Right? Try to execute them if time is there. Once you execute them, you will get a clarity about the errors, what it has been focusing upon, what are the variables it is looking into, what are the possible changes, whatever you are learning, that will show an effect in the execution only. Without execution, it won't fetch that much knowledge for you. Okay? Practice them. Yes, the next one is nested and inner classes. What is meant by nested? One inside the another, one inside the another. Yes or no? You will be writing nested if else. First if condition will be there. One more if else condition will be there. Under that one more if else condition will be there. That is what? Box inside another box. Box inside another box is a nested
Connected.
classes. Not connected, completely inside. One class will be there. In that another class is already there. For example, I'll tell you. If I write a program like to calculate area, parameter, like the 2-3 values for one single symbol. Area of a triangle, perimeter of a triangle, like that. I just want to think more than one function upon it. So one class is the thing where it takes certain variables. Another class, I wrote all the functions. So it would be like inner classes in it. I'll explain it in detail with an example. Please look into it. If you have any doubts, please let me know here itself. Nested class means defining a class inside the another class. Defining a class inside the another class. Example, correct ga cheppalante, house number lo, you will have multiple values to be added. One is with the help of a number, another one with the character set, another one with a mandal or district, then pin code. Like that, different things will be clubbed together under a class, no? So how you will insert those things? Nested structures, did you analyze the program? The same way nested classes will be there. Yes. For example, here is a small example. If a cube is a class defined within the shape, the object of the cube cannot exist without the existence of the object of the shape. Example, you take the class mark. Just not simply discussing. First, we'll take one class with the help of shape. I'm asking you guys to mute yourself, but still you are not following that thing. If you don't follow, how can I continue it in the class? Moreover, everyone are joining at last 10 to 15 minutes. No, this is not correct. Please try to join on time and don't disturb others. Please mute and then join. Please mute it. Who is that? I'm trying to mute, but still you are owning it. Oppo A15s. Yes, ma. Please respond. Who is that? Yes, please concentrate. Here is a class name by the name shape. In that shape, I took two variables, width and height, and I'm writing one more class. I'm writing one more class that is by the name cube. And here I wrote one function name shape, and I'm passing the arguments to that class function first. At that class I'm sending. Later on, under the area, I'm getting multiplied. Under the volume, it is calculating something. Under the class cube, I'm defining it now. Later on, I was to access shape with the help of the cube. So please create the object of the shape first, followed with the cube. Then you will fetch the values, whatever you want to access from the main method. Under the shape, I took one of the class that is cube. But I did not define it here. I'm just defining it outside of it. Defining class within the another class. Overall, I'm closing those two classes and I'm just taking that and entering the values at the object declaration and then accessing with the help of the object. Are you able to follow me? Suppose if I give this variable or methods as a static, I can directly access with the help of a class name. Okay?
Ma'am?
Ah.
At last they gave not okay, no, ma'am.
What not okay?
Volume plus get volume colon not okay. Some.
That's
in
why.
The example, ma'am.
Example. Previously, here you look at here. What is the outer class? Shape. With the shape, I can access the values of cube. But with the cube, can I access it?
No,
cube is defined in the shape. But with the help of shape, I can access those things. With the cube, I can't. That's the reason. With the cube, if you are trying to access, no, it is not giving you. It will give you an error. Cube is inside of, in order to look into the inside object, first I should open the outside object, no? లోపల ఏం బాక్స్ ఉందో చూడాలంటే బయట బాక్స్ ఓపెన్ చేయాలి కానీ డైరెక్ట్ గా లోపల బాక్స్ వస్తుందా? లోపల బాక్స్ తీయడానికి వస్తుందా? నాట్ పాసిబుల్ కాబట్టి This is about today. Tomorrow I'll continue about some classes. If I continue it, it won't be concluded. So let me revise once whatever the things we have discussed today are garbage collection and final method. Before starting ahead, we discussed about class, objects, constructor with some example, followed with a garbage collection and finalize method with the stack class and with the static additional things like function overloading, static keyword, final keyword, then followed with function overloading with one example, then the nested classes. Finally, with the static keyword, we can access without a object. With the help of a class, we can access it. Are you clear so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thanks for the day. Have a nice day. Excuse me. Can I end the class now, or do I have to assign it to some? Excuse me. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am.
I am the admin. Can I end this class? Do you have any other class?
No, ma'am. This class is finished.
Okay, Nana. Thank you then. I am ending the meeting. Have a nice day then.